Hello, I am Jennifer Mellone, cybersecurity consultant. Today, I am talking about security conference tradecraft, and while I'm at it, discuss everyday carry or EDC to be carried at the conference or other places. I am not paid or sponsored in any way for what I have to say about EDC products. When I am out and about, I like to layer my belongings in different locations or tiers. Pockets first, waist or sling bag or purse second, and backpack third when appropriate. My car is the fourth location. What I put in my assorted locations depends on mission, resource availability, risk, policies, laws, locations, what I am wearing, and what I am doing. Layer 1. Let's start with Layer 1, my pockets. This can vary depending on my situation. I always have my KeySmart keychain, which has the following attached to it: a small battery-powered O-light and a rechargeable Nightcore flashlight. This way, I am covered for two types of power, battery and charging. Normally, I'd go with a small Streamlight, but I just went with the flow and used some lights that my husband gave me. I also have a titanium whistle and a handy titanium disc-shaped screwdriver assortment. There is a little hook on the chain in case I wish to hang the hook on the pocket to keep everything in a straight line. I got that idea from the Urban Prepper on YouTube. I also carry a phone, but that is not shown here. If I'm in a situation where I'm worried about someone taking my waist bag, such as an urban environment, I slip a credit card and ID into the RF sleeve and put it in my pocket as a backup. I do this at airports too, just so I can quickly access these items when going through security and then later at the store to buy my water. That sleeve is on the upper right. For any kind of conference or work-related event, there are the dreaded handshakes, so sanitizer is essential. In some cases, I'll carry tissue and or wipes in case I end up in a stall or a porta-john without adequate supplies. Normally, I keep these hygiene items in my waist bag, but on this day, I wanted them more easily accessible. Naturally, I wear sunglasses, nothing too big. These are Oakley's, nice and light, yet rugged. Finally, I'm a fan of analog waterproof watches, especially diver's watches. I used to scuba dive back in the proverbial day, and this is a nod to many very happy memories. I like having a compass on the strap, just in case I need to figure out direction. Sure, this is not a hardcore land navigation compass, but it can be useful. I would take it off the band if I really had to use it in a dire situation. These are made by Sangen Instruments. Let's take a look at some other carry items. Naturally, the items I show here are not allowed at the RSA Security Conference. Treat a conference like RSA like a day at the airport going through the TSA checkpoint. The checkpoint at the conference was very similar. In fact, the running joke this year was that the conference was TSA versus RSA, with all the long lines to get badges. Anyway, on top, I have another keychain with some items attached. Those items include a Rescue Me tool, which has a window punch and seatbelt cutter. Great for when I'm riding in someone else's car. I already have a big punch tool and a seatbelt cutter in my own car. There is also a ferrocerium fire starter rod and a small multi-tool such as the Gerber dime. Once again, I have a little hook on there for internal pocket hanging, just like on my regular keychain. Normally, I keep this ensemble in my waist bag, unless I'm flying, but on this day, I did not carry these items. By the way, ferrocerium rods are allowed through TSA, unlike the Rescue Me and the Gerber dime. Sometimes I carry the Surefire backup MV flashlight shown on the lower left, if the aforementioned lights I showed you are not up for a more serious task at hand. The Surefire is a small and powerful beast. Click on the tail button once and you get full brightness to quickly illuminate a dark area. Click it again and you get a dim light, which is good for those times when you need just a little light. It has a relatively smooth crenulated bezel. I don't take crenulated bezel flashlights through TSA because bezel sharpness is subjective. The small knife on the lower right is the Benchmade Bugout Mini. It's nice because it lays flat in my pocket and it's not too long. Of course, I do not take the knife to the airport. I really like how the flashlight and the knife are the same length. They fit nicely together in my pocket. Quick word about knives. I keep an inexpensive Kershaw knife handy in my home for opening boxes, envelopes, and plastic packages. I don't like to use my nice EDC knife for mundane tasks like that, unless, of course, I have no option. I use the EDC knife when I'm out and about. Layer 2. This is my waist bag. I usually sling it over my shoulder. I used to carry a leather purse, but one day we went golfing and we walked the course with our bags that we placed on a rented wheeled pull cart. Normally we rent a golf cart that we drive, but on this day I ditched the purse, used a waist bag I had laying around, and put it in the golf bag. I never went back to using a purse after that, but I did get a different waist bag, which is the one that you see here. The outer pocket of the waist bag is for items that you do not need RFID protection for, such as cash, other cards, cheap pen, and papers it needed. It's not shown here. It's nothing special, really. The next pocket in the waist bag is for items that do need RFID protection. I have a Ridge wallet for that. I have a backup Streamlight flashlight operated by battery, no crenulated bezel, to potentially upset security checkpoint personnel. I also have some protective hygiene items just in case. Thin rubber gloves, bandana, N95 mask, and a small sanitizer. Remember, I live in earthquake country, so a little protection is good to have in case there is debris and dust. I also keep a couple of Band-Aids just in case and some gum and mints. The conference organizers advising leaving all-tied tins behind. Otherwise, they would have to be inspected at the checkpoint. Tic Tacs in their plastic container are lighter and occupy less space anyway. Speaking of Altoid tins, I used to carry a small survival kit in the tin, and one time I got stopped by TSA for an inspection. Everything was fine, no contraband, but I just don't do that anymore to make everyone's lives easier. It was my teeny tiny multi-tool without a knife that was the trigger. I was very complimentary to the agent who was paying attention and picked up on that. Finally, the last pocket in the waist bag is for less used items such as medications, some wipes, and a mini Bic lighter in a nice metal case that I found on Amazon. By the way, everything in this waist bag is TSA friendly as long as I remove that Gerber dime and the Rescue Me keychain ensemble that I showed you earlier. Layer 3. Let's move on to my backpack. Just plain black and not too wide. Easy to maneuver in crowds. It fits beautifully under airplane seats. Note the nice pockets on the side for my water bottles. By the way, the expo floor at the conference has water coolers and cups, but I prefer having my own stash because I'm in and out and going to other locations outside the expo floor and completely off-campus venues. I keep a whistle tethered to my backpack strap and a small carabiner just in case I need them. The outer pocket in the pack has assorted writing instruments, a little pad, a small pack of tissue, corporate gauge, and you guessed it, backup hand sanitizer and a mask. The next pocket of the pack has a flat smoke mask hood, neck gaiter to hide my face or for protection, notebook and pen specifically for conversations with cybersecurity product vendors in this case, and I keep my luggage tag inside the bag for protection and to streamline the look. The red bag you see here is a first aid kit, which is easily found if I need to ask a colleague to go into my pack and retrieve it. Sometimes I carry a more streamlined, flat first aid kit from the Focus Research Group if I need to save room on bulk. The tourniquet in there is rubber and not nearly as robust though, but you can always supplement it with a real tourniquet. Here's a close-up for the smoke mask and the other items I just talked about. These are handy for fires in city buildings with lots of people inside, and I do take them on airplanes just in case. I got this idea from the Urban Prepper on YouTube, and I thought it was genius. Let's take a look at the first aid kit. I'll start with the trauma supplies. I carried a trauma kit in Afghanistan and took a combat lifesaver course and learned all about bleeding. It's good to stay updated and sharp on these skills because they are very perishable. On to the items. Tourniquet, soft T, wide. Quick clot, hyphen vent seals, the smaller ones. Mini compression bandage. A Sharpie for writing down when you applied the tourniquet to the patient. Gloves, mask, and a space blanket to keep the patient warm if they go into shock. If you want to learn more about this sort of topics, please check out the Prep Medic on YouTube. Also in the kit are some Purell wipes, Claritin pills and instructions, baby aspirin, glucose tablet, Band-Aids. Let me explain. I have a friend who has a prescription and carries an EpiPen, epinephrine, just in case she has an allergic reaction to some foods. I don't have a prescription for one, so I cannot carry one and be the good Samaritan for that. But she told me that she can use Claritin in a pinch, so she gave me that idea to have some Claritin on hand in case a colleague has an issue and needs it. I learned in first aid class that baby aspirin can be used for cardiac events, and glucose can be used for diabetic events. Don't take my word for any of this. These are just things to offer colleagues at their own risk if needed. Get proper training. Once again, protocols change and first aid is a perishable skill. It needs to be refreshed. Speaking of trauma, I have a lightweight protective ballistic plate insert for my pack, just in case I need to protect myself. There's a slot for it, and you can see it sticking up there. In the same compartment as the protective insert, not the sleeve part, but the actual compartment, I have some additional items. Snacks, a hat, which can be used for protection or to change up my look, a dark energy power bank with charger and cables, and a Ziploc bag with my phone charging gear. The power and charging gear fit in a small black bag shown next to the hat. Finally, I have a small Faraday bag, which is waterproof. Perfect to house and protect electronic items such as a phone so bad guys cannot extract data from it or track my location. I did not carry a laptop that day because ounces equal pounds and pounds equals pain. I left it and its Faraday bag at home. Without the laptop, my pack weighed in at 12 pounds with the water, not including my waist bag, which was 2 more pounds. By the way, if you're in the Bay Area, never leave a computer bag in your car, not even in the trunk out of sight. The bad guys are watching for this all the time, and frequent break-ins are common. Keep it with you and in sight at all times. Don't be a target.